On a hillside overlooking East Los Angeles, in the heart of the barrio, something unusual is about to happen.
Rolling. We're rolling.
A Hollywood film crew has arrived to shoot a new motion picture. The movie is titled Blood In, Blood Out. It's produced and directed by Taylor Hackford, who produced La Bamba and directed An Officer and a Gentleman.
This has been the most passionate film project of my life.
Forget the dolly, let's do it.
I was putting myself on the line and taking a lot of chances. And because of that, I felt alive and more committed than I ever have before.
And action!
This film is about family. It's about these three young men, two half-brothers and a cousin.
Come on, Deli Cuisine!
This film explores the pain and the intensity of the Latino life in East Los Angeles. Working class people who are struggling to assimilate into America. It's about young men having a dream. Every film that I make, I try to make something that strikes me to the core. And in this film, I had a huge responsibility. I'm an Anglo making a film about a Latino culture. I needed a collaborator who could really speak to these issues and talk about these characters and know them intimately. Plus, I needed a terrific writer. What I wanted was a true Chicano voice for this project. I called Jimmy Santiago Baca. He said, well, I'm not a screenwriter. I said, yes, but you've got the voice that I'm looking for. You've got the experience. I read your poetry.
I happened to be home. I happened to be in a good mood. I talked to him. And I was listening very deeply to what kind of person he was. And it was when I said, yes, I think I can do it. Let's go to work.
Mira, al principio, Leo.
And I grew up in California. I grew up with a lot of Chicano friends. I spent time in their households. I felt an immediate affinity and love for Chicano culture. It's probably the passion, it's the humor. East Los Angeles is the biggest barrio in the United States. It's a fantastic community, fascinating and beautiful. It was important to shoot there. And it was important for us to be part of that community.
Now he finishes, he walks back in here and says his line.
This is a piece that comes with a lot of sincerity and a great deal of commitment on the part of the filmmakers. And at the same time, from Jimmy's pen, he's writing about true events, true situations, real life. Jimmy Baca lived all the experiences in this film.
I'm all three of these characters.
Hey, life's a risk, carnal.
Paco is me. When I was growing up, he's the guy who says, no one messes with me. He's the power broker. He changes because he realizes that whatever it is that he's doing, if it begins to kill the children, it's got to stop. Cruz is the painter. He interprets the mythology of the barrio through his murals and his painting. He's the one that gives meaning to our path in this life. He's the interpreter of dreams. Miklo is the person who always wants to be accepted, who wants to be in. He has a white father and a Mexican mother. Since he's been ostracized, he creates his own family, and he finds that he's got to create that family in the worst of places, in prison.
What Jimmy Baca embodied in this script are characters that we can get to know, we can understand their motivations and their pain and their frustrations, and at the same time, their passions.
Patos locos forever.
Forever!
These three kids' lives, when they wake up in the morning, anything could happen and death is around every corner. You see, existence in their life is not broad. It doesn't take on tomorrow. Only thing that counts is today.
Who are you fighting? Just fighting yourself!
What are you doing? Those are my carnales, they're my family!
I'm your family!
The violence comes out, but these are children doing it. You gotta understand, these are kids. They don't know what the consequences are. They don't know that the boundaries are gonna burst. It's an eye for an eye, biblical avenging.
The three brothers in this film go through drastic changes in their lives. The greatest passions can exist within a family, the greatest loves, the greatest hatreds, but you're always bound by that bond of blood. Over the course of time, they move in different directions, and you see brother coming up against brother.
Paco's a policeman. He comes to a robbery. Miklo is one of the masked robbers. It's at that point in time that Paco is making the most crucial decision in his life, either to betray his own people or stay true to himself and to his own belief system. I was one of those kids. That's what's so painful. I was the kid on the corner. I'm the guy in prison who went through the gangs. I'm the guy who witnessed the injustices. I was the guy who raged and hated. I was so horrified by what was going on that I repeated over and over and over again that I will tell the world what's happening in here. I will say it in my writing and my poetry. I will tell somebody. Someone's got to know about it.
That's why your parole is so important. You've got to prove there's another way.
There was a philosophy about this film. You know, it is a fictional film. It isn't a documentary. But I wanted a level of reality that was beyond reproach. It became crucial to me to use a real prison. The important element there is not just the physical architecture, it's the human architecture. The men who are there have a certain look. And I wanted specifically to be in California, and even more specific than that, into San Quentin. The warden of San Quentin is Chicano. His name is Daniel Vasquez. And when I went there and asked permission, he said, let me read the script. Gave him the script, and he looked at it and he came back and said, who wrote this? This is real. I don't know where you got this information, but this is real. And because of that, he let us in.
When I put the actors in with you guys,
You walk through the gates and they make you sign something that says, we do not have a hostage policy here. That means you go in at your own risk. It's a sobering responsibility. I know the danger of it, and I didn't soft pedal that to the crew. We never had an incident. We shot there for 5.5 weeks, and it was an incredible experience. And I know the reality is on the screen. When you're inside those prison walls and you see those men's faces, there's only 8 actors. All the rest are real inmates.
I don't think that this film has followed the footsteps of any film before it. I don't think it has predecessors. I think that what Taylor Hackford did as a director was leap into this arena of fire. It could have been easy to follow some sort of recipe, but we didn't. We were truly following the heartbeat of East LA.
Because we're from East Los, ese.
The film is about revelation and forgiveness. It's someone forgiving another person for hurting them, and it's someone else revealing to that person their weakness. At the very end, we're looking at a man weeping who hasn't wept. We're looking at a man talking who hasn't talked. We're looking at 2 brothers embracing who haven't embraced.
What's important at the end of this film is that you see characters that have gone through and survived. They've come out on the other end, and the healing can begin. We are in this boat together. We must discover each other's cultures in this country, as we always have, in order to survive. This film can be a step in that direction.